Hey everybody, I am just back from church. We had our first 9 o'clock in the morning church. We've been going at 1:30 since we lived out here, and I hate that time because it's so late in the day and I don't feel like I can get anything done, nor can I get a nap. And I'm like a baby. I need to have a nap. Anyway, so I just got home and it is snowing like crazy, and I've got homemade stew in my crock pot today, and I didn't use my Instant Pot. However, you can make it in Instant Pot if you're wondering. But anyway, I just wanted to do a quick live so that I could show you how I make my one bowl bread, and hopefully I can do this during the whole live session. So I want to get started really quick, so if people join, great. If they don't, well, it's going to be saved. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure, and I'm only going to make a half batch, that I've got really warm water. And by warm, I mean lukewarm. And sometimes you can even test it with a digital thermometer to, let's see where we're at. Should not be over 120 degrees for bread. Hey, Melissa. I think you're the only one live today. Everybody else is hunkering down for this big storm. Okay, so I've got 93 degrees. That's good. It's not too warm, and it won't kill my yeast. That's the most important thing with making bread, is making sure that you're not going to kill your yeast, because the yeast does all of the work, all the super awesome work. Okay, the other thing that you can do, so I've got 3 cups of water. Normally I make 6 loaves of bread, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to make a simple couple loaves of bread for dinner with our stew. So I've got 3 cups of water, and then you can use 1 cup of honey or 1 cup of regular sugar. Actually, I mean a half. I'm used to making the full. So, of course, let me get the half cup. And of course, the trick to getting anything out like sticky molasses or honey is to spray the measuring cup with a little of this cooking oil, and then it'll go in really fine and come out easy. There we go. Let's see if I can turn it so you can see how quick and easy it is. It just cleans that whole thing and you get every last drop. And normally I'll say when I make stew, I normally make wheat bread, but I just looked around and I don't have any wheat, so sad for me. I don't have any wheat bread. And this is the longest it's going to take to get all that honey out. Okay, get out, get out. All right, and then what I do is I stir. I just try to dissolve either the sugar or the honey into the water, so it's not just sitting in a glop on the bottom there. And then I keep my yeast. I get my yeast at Costco, the Red Star yeast. And I keep that in this mason jar that's green. Where is my, oh, here it is. Mason jar that's green, so that I know that it's yeast. Really, it's the only reason. I just keep it in a mason jar. But it's Red Star, this is the brand. It's the very best, no fail. And this bread recipe is seriously no fail, I promise. Even Melissa can do it. Okay, I'm putting 3 tablespoons into that water honey mixture. 2 and 3. All right. And I get these plastic lids at Walmart, and they're not the the metal stuff. This makes it really quick and easy. And then I'm going to slowly stir that a little bit. And that is going to activate the yeast, and it's going to start to bubble. And then what we're going to do while that's getting ready, making this perfect bread on a cold winter day here in Utah, is we're going to get oil. So we're going to need a 1/4 cup of oil, and then a tablespoon of sea salt. And I just use this stuff from Kirkland's right here, so it makes it really easy. Also, while I'm waiting for this yeast to get to town here, if you use your flour, now there's all different types of flour you can use. I have made this specific recipe with wheat flour, with bread flour, with regular all-purpose flour, with kamut flour, which is my preferred flour at this stage because I'm almost okay. So if you've ever followed the Food Nanny, she sells this Kamut flour, and it is by far the best flour I've ever had in my life, and it makes everything taste better. It's a natural grain of white wheat. It's amazing. So check that out if you want. However, if you use a bread flour, it has more protein, which means there's more gluten in it, which means it's going to be more elastic. It's going to be a lot more awesome. So here is the brand that I normally do in the past. I use Kamut all the time now, but this is what this is my last. I'm switching everything over to Kamut, like everything, even whole grain wheat, which I don't have yet. I've got to purchase some. But this bread flour, I've used it for years and years. I mean, probably almost 30 years I've used this type of flour. And the difference between bread flour and all-purpose, like I said, is that it even says here on the side, it's higher in protein, which makes more gluten, which absorbs more water, which makes dough more elastic, all the things, which is better for like pastas and breads and all those things. So all I've got right here, all I've got right here is water, honey, and yeast, and it's already starting to bubble, and it's gonna be awesome. And the main trick is to make sure you don't kill your yeast. So anywhere between the 90s and the 115 degree mark, and I will heat my water. It's the best way to test it if you don't have a digital thermometer is to just run your hand under the water. If it's warmer than normal, like something that you could give a baby's bottle, when you warm up a baby's bottle and you're like, okay, that's too hot, or that's too, you want it to be just right, like Three Little Bears. Okay, so let me get, normally I make, like I said, a double batch, and this is just my half batch, or regular batch, I should say. And my preferred method is using glass pans, Pyrex bowls, because I can see how brown it's getting on the bottom. That's a trick, especially for first-time bakers. You want to get a Pyrex that has, you can see through it, okay? Opposed to like this type of bread loaf. I mean, I've made bread since I was 14 around, so a long time. So I know that when my bread's ready to come out of the oven. But if you don't, you want to get a glass pan. That's your best bet. I like these little bitty 3x6. I think the brand is Chicago Metallic. I could get them on Amazon. And I like to just make a ton of little loaves, and then I'll wrap them and put them in my freezer, and then they're like fresh bread out of the oven when they'll be cold, but you can just put them on your counter for a couple of hours and they're totally thawed, and you have bread for the week. So that's a really quick way to make bread at the beginning of your week, and then you have it for, if you don't have a lot of people in your house, you'll have it for a long time. But if you have my family, I'm making bread almost twice a week. Okay, so it's getting there. Let me get that fourth cup real quick. All right. Okay, so I'm going to get my oil ready. I just realized I said oil. Southern. My oil. Okay, and then my salt. So all we're going to add to this is oil and salt. Oil and salt. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this flour up, even though I prefer to use Kamut white flour, wheat. Because this is my last one, and I want to get it out of here. I don't want it to spoil. Oh, I'm crazy. Okay. So I've let this sit. It's getting kind of fluffy and yummy here. And really, you don't need it to sit too long. I've used honey today, trying to be a little bit more healthy than straight sugar. So I put my oil in and my tablespoon of salt. And I'll tell you, by the way, can you hear me? Give me a wave or a heart or something if you can hear me. Hopefully you can. I'm trying a different microphone on my phone. Okay, good. Thank you. Hopefully it's clearer. I'm testing this little mic. I'll kind of show you. Hopefully this little lobe mic my son has for recording, because when I'm singing and stuff, you can't really hear my voice over the piano, and so we're testing different things. So I figured I would test y'all on that too. Okay, so I got all that ready to go. Done with the salt, done with oil, and now we're gonna just start adding our flour. And I don't need to sift bread flour. I don't really need to sift any flour, to be honest, unless it calls for like cake flour you want to sift, or powdered sugar you want to sift, brown sugar. So I'm going to start with 3 cups of flour. And I'm just going to stir that in. Bread is probably the easiest thing to make. Okay. If you have any questions, just DM me. Let me know. This also is on my blog, One Bowl Bread. That's how it's listed on my blog. Okay, so you can tell it's kind of like loose and goosey here. That's not good. We want to add 8 cups total of flour. So I usually get to 4 or 5 cups. So that's 4. That's 5. And then I switch to a wooden spoon. Okay? Because it's just too hard to get everything out here. There is nothing better than homemade bread in your oven. Nothing. Well, I take that back. Brownies. I love me some brownies. Okay. Ooh, that sounds really good right now. Okay, so this is why you don't want to continue to mix, because it gets stuck in your whisk. But that's okay. I got most of it mixed into the flour, and now I'm just going to start beating it in. And when I say one bowl bread, I don't use a bread machine. A lot of people are questioning why I don't use a bread machine. Well, because I like the method. I like the one bowl method, and it doesn't take long at all. And I don't have hardly anything to clean up. Okay, 6. I think I'm at 6. You like how I just measure in the black bag? 7. Okay, I'm going to leave that last 8th cup out because, hello, thanks for joining. I'm making one bowl bread. This recipe's on my blog. And we've talked about the yeast, and you can probably watch this again. If you have any questions about that, let me know. But it's a really, really quick, easy, no fail. It will always rise, I promise. It will always rise. Okay, so you can see it's getting kind of thicker, and you do need a little bit of muscle. So if you don't have that, grab your husband or your loved one or your kid, not your dog. Where's Toby? He's always in the background doing his thing. Okay, and depending on elevation, I'm in Utah, so the elevation I have is high elevation. So you may need a little extra flour, you may not. Okay, so now I'm just getting in there with my hand and kneading it a little bit until I can turn it out onto my counter here. Hey, honey.
Trying not to be in your
Yeah, I'm on a live video. We just got back from church. It was awesome. Beautiful, beautiful meeting. It's not so beautiful outside. It's snowing. And I'm not a big fan of the snow. Are you guys a big fan of the snow? I know Melissa's not. Okay, I'm going to turn this out. All this little bitty stuff right here, I don't need that. So I'm going to dump it right in my trash. Okay, so then the best way to knead, no, me too, Melissa. Uh-oh, I just covered the mic. Okay, should be back. Okay, the best way to knead your dough, now it's still pretty sticky, so I need to get that last 1 cup out, and I just kind of add it at will when I need a tablespoon more so it's not so sticky while I'm kneading. And this is going to be your hardest part. There we go, good enough. Of this process is just kneading the dough. Okay, let me show you quickly. Well, I'll do that in a minute. So all I'm doing is using this part of my wrist and I'm pushing it in like this. Can you see that? Just doing like this. Pushing it forward, pushing it down, flipping it around just a little quarter turn. you know, and you just bring it into the center. You're not going all the way to the back and pushing. That would make no sense, right? You want to bring it into the center of your bread. Can you see that? Okay, whipping it up. I should actually make cinnamon rolls. That sounds good too. You can do 2 hands if you're gonna feel like a farmer girl, backwoods lady who does nothing but raise her. I'm literally the little red hen. I grind my own wheat. Got my own flour. Okay, now see, it's getting a little bit sticky, so I'm just gonna throw a little bit more flour down. Okay, that's all you do. I mean, come on. It's like the easiest recipe ever. Warm water, sugar, yeast, salt, vegetable oil, and flour. Any kind of flour. This works with any kind of flour, this recipe, I promise. I make wheat bread out of this, rises every time. Wheat bread is one of those things that's a heavy grain, so it doesn't always rise really, really good. My recipe does. So check it out. It's on my blog if you haven't written this one down. Okay, you see how elastic it is and smooth? Look at that. Really good. Okay, so now that it's pretty good, sometimes it takes longer than the time that I just did it to knead, but it really shouldn't. So why I call it one bowl bread is because you saw, we just mixed everything in this bread bowl, right? I mean in this bowl. Where's my spray? Losing my mind. Oh, ta-da! Okay, it's because I'm not gonna use another bowl. I'm just not. So I spray the inside of this bowl really good. And I flip this bread, the top of the bread dough, into the bowl, flip it back out so it's got kind of a grease top, and da-da. Okay, so now all we're gonna do is cover it. Okay. And I just get these rags, you know, from Walmart or whatever, these big flour towels, and I just throw it on top. Now, if you have a really cold environment, and then we're just gonna wait till it's double in size. And it does not take very long. So I'm gonna put this back here. But one of the things that you can do is to make sure your kitchen is heated pretty good, meaning that the oven's already on. I've got my oven preset to 350, and it starts to bring in a little bit of heat into the kitchen, which helps the bread to rise fast, okay? In Texas, I swear it does not take long at all to get your bread to rise. It's like 20 minutes and you're done. It's because it's hot outside. Okay, let me get rid of this flour. Into the garbage. Okay, so the same method you do to make cinnamon rolls. Do you want to see how to do that? Okay, let's see. Hold on. Okay, sorry. I didn't have a bowl. All right. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. We rinse off this bowl real quick, make sure there's nothing in it, like popcorn. Not that there was any. There wasn't, actually. Okay, so I'm going to heat up this water again. And like I said before, the temperature needs to be so we're doing 3 cups of water. And you don't want it to be too hot, so you can't let it get over 120 degrees. So I've got my 3 cups. Let's see. Okay. So I use a digital thermometer. I don't usually have to use the thermometer because I'm so used to baking bread that it's just natural for me to know that it's too hot or too cold. So we're at 102, 106, 9, and we're at 110. So let me make sure. Yeah, it's back to 109. So that's the perfect temperature for your yeast to activate, okay? Between 100, it can be lower, it can be a little cooler. It's not like, the exact science is really in that you don't go over 120, okay? All right. So, instead of honey, like I did in this last loaf, I'm gonna use sugar. So, I need about half a cup of sugar in here. And again, I will stir it to dissolve. And I don't have double utensils here, so let me hold on. So I'm just going to stir that sugar up. You can see it's going to start dissolving in that warm water. Once that's dissolved, kind of like Jell-O, but better because it's sugar water. You can see it's getting clearer. That means it's ready, okay? Then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of yeast on top of that. Okay. And I don't know how smart it was to do a live today on bread, because obviously there's 30 minutes times for cooking and all of those things. But I just wanted to give you a little heads up on how to do it, how to make the dough, and then I'll post pictures on the actual end of result so you can see that. Okay, so now we're just going to let that activate, that yeast. That's why I stir it. And I'll go ahead and get these ready by spraying these into the sink so that I don't get it everywhere. And I just spray them up. I don't use Crisco or flour. My mama used to swear by that if it wasn't with Crisco, you know, the solid stuff, solid Crisco, and the and then flour. Oh, she'd say it wouldn't ever work out. But guess what? It does. Sometimes Mama's not always right. Sometimes. Okay. You can see it's starting to bubble up a little bit here. And again, we're just going to add a tablespoon of salt in a few seconds here. And let's see, where's my oil? 1/4 cup of oil. And once you have you guys tried homemade bread before? That would be interesting to know. I feel like it's a lost art. I feel like a lot of people don't make homemade bread anymore. And if you knew how to make homemade bread, you would never turn back. Like, you can't even eat regular bread and be happy. I don't. It's different tasting. Even my family, they're like, we go to a restaurant and they don't understand why the bread isn't as good as mine. My husband's laughing at me. And it's really quiet right now at my house, and I like it. But I'm looking forward to seeing my grandson. He's about to come over from after they get out of their church a little later than our church is. So otherwise, he'd be right here trying to get into all this mess, and I would be loving it because he's the best. Okay, so I'm going to put my honey up. But like I said, you can use honey or sugar in this recipe. Both equal the best bread. And either white or wheat flour. And a lot of times back in the day, I would do wheat flour, and I could never, the bread would be like this tall, and I'd be like, it still tasted good, and I still toasted it, and I was good to go, but it still didn't rise. And I was like, well, do I increase my yeast? Do I increase my gluten? I don't have to do anything except this recipe. So I'm telling you, this is the best recipe to try it on if you have trouble with yeast. Okay, let's see how this is doing. Oh yeah, already starting to rise. And then all you have to do is roll it out and put your bread loaf, and that's what I kind of want to, hopefully this will last as long as I can roll out the bread so you can see. Another thing I like to make with bread is monkey bread. Has anybody ever had monkey bread? Oh, it's so good. So, and that would be something I could do with Logan. So maybe I'll save some dough for him when he comes over, and we'll do a live later and have him help me make monkey bread. But all it is butter, sugar, and cinnamon, and breaks off pieces and puts it in a little ball and throws it in the butter, throws it in the cinnamon sugar, makes sure it throws it in a pan. Then when it comes out, you flip it over and drizzle cinnamon icing on the top, or just glaze, whatever you want to do, powdered sugar. I do cinnamon in all my cinnamon roll icing, so that would work for me. But, and then you can just pull apart. It's like pull apart cinnamon rolls. So good. So. Okay. It's getting bubbly. Look at that. You see that's kind of foamy? Can you see? See? It's like foamy beautifulness. That's where you want your yeast to be. That's how you know it's good. Some people, and I too, sometimes cover the yeast with a piece of plastic wrap like saran wrap, and that kind of envelops the heat into one area, doesn't let it escape anywhere, and so the yeast may rise a little faster. I'll do that with like pizza dough because I want the pizza dough done quickly, so that's something I'll do. But let's keep going. Here we go. 1/4 cup of oil and tablespoon salt. Okay. And we good. So we're gonna stir it up. Stir it up. By the way, I have my hymn sing going up today. I just gotta upload it to YouTube. Hopefully you are a follower over there at YouTube. Okay, 1. I'm gonna make it easier for me. Okay. 2. And if you're an exact person, you're freaking out right now. 3. Because I'm not really being exact. 4. Again, I'm bad because, people say, how much of this, how much of that? And I'm like, listen, I just got it up here and I just do it. But I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to actually count and sometimes lose count. Okay. Normally I would use my little whisk, but honestly you can just use your awesome wooden spoon. Wooden spoons are the best. Like they scare kids. My mama used to. They can scare kids. They can stir up the best meals. They can whip up bread. You can do all kinds of things with wooden spoon. My mama used to shake the drawer for all us 7 kids when we were growing up, and that would scare us enough to think she's going to come after us, which she never did, by the way. But it scared us. Or she'd pull out the wooden spoon and hold it up. Okay, 4. Now we got 5, 6, and 7 ish. Okay. Then I got the extra cup here. That's the end of that bag that I'm going to keep out so that I have something to turn out and use if it gets sticky while I need it. Okay. Now, once a month in our religion, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we fast and we give up a couple of meals for that Sunday. And it's really kind of cool because you get that cleansing feeling. We have an amazing testimony meeting where anyone can share their testimony. And so that's what we did today. And it was awesome. And we have a new church schedule. It's only 2 hours long. That was awesome. It's not 3. We used to go 3 hours to church. I've been going 3 hours to church since I was little. I kind of feel like I should be there, like I'm skipping out or something right now, but I'm not. So it's awesome. Great meeting. So when I have a fast Sunday, what I'm trying to say is that when we have fast Sunday at our house, I got to have food ready when we get home because we're breaking our fast. We say a prayer together and then we eat. But we haven't eaten yet because Leanna's church is later, and so the stew is ready because I did it overnight, and then I'm making this homemade bread. So when they come in, they're going to be starving, and they're going to be so happy. Because fast Sunday's hard to get through when you're hungry. You get hungry. But honestly, it's not too hard for me anymore to do fasting because the benefits to me outweigh skipping a couple meals, right? You can go 24 hours. That's even better. Hey, is that Tracy? Who's on? I'm making homemade bread. Hopefully Tamara's watching. Little cook. Okay, so now that I've got it here, again, it's not totally kneaded yet, right? And it's still a little sticky. That's why I keep that extra 1/8 cup out so that I can use it while I'm kneading and keep my hands somewhat dry. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to spray the inside of this one bowl bread recipe, right? So then I'm going to toss that kneaded bread right back in here, the bread dough, to rise. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Now, all I'm doing is kneading. Now, I get so many questions about kneading, okay? The most important thing that you got to remember about kneading is you don't want it super sticky all over your hands, right? So use that extra cup of flour, toss it in your hands, You're ready to go, okay? And you don't, when I taught my girls, they were learning how to knead bread, and they would be like little bitty, and I was like, get in there, get mean with it. Tell that bread who's boss. That's how you gotta do it. But also, you see how I'm using this hand to flip about a quarter turn every time that I'm pushing this one in, okay? That's the trick, right? That's what makes me look like I know what I'm doing. And I'm also not going all the way to the edge and trying to push it and roll it that way. I'm bringing it into the center with the palm of my hand like this. And just using this portion, okay, dough's everywhere. This portion right here to pull in and push, okay? And flip, pull, push. And I just get good at it. I just get faster and faster. Oh yeah, let's go. See? And the faster you get, the faster it's over. And then you can throw it into that already greased bowl. That's what I love about one bowl bread. It's quick, it's easy. Super, super easy. Okay. My sister hasn't said anything. I don't know if that's my sister or if it's one of her kids. Watching Aunt Laurie cook bread. Okay. So now see, it's kind of getting a little sticky. That's okay because it's elastic, right? It's good. It's supposed to be that way. But as I'm kneading, I want it to be light enough to where it's not sticking to the bottom of my counter and that it's movable, okay? Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you. Are you Texan as well? Are you Southern or just want to be Southern? Okay. See, like I said, I'm just adding like a teaspoon at a time and throwing it down. And all I'm trying to accomplish here is making sure it's really good and elastic. And look, smooth, baby, like a baby's butt. Okay, so now, see the bottom? There's no rhyme or reason to it, right? Oh, good, I'm so glad. Yeah. However, my husband wants me to live in Puerto Rico. I'm not buying it. I'll wear the t-shirt, but I'm not going to Puerto Rico and living. So I flip it onto the bottom that's already been sprayed, right? And then I throw it like this. So it's already kind of greased on top. I don't know why I do that. I think it's just because my mama did. You know, sometimes you just do stuff your mama did, and you don't question it. Texas, you don't question what your mama does. You go, yes, ma'am. That's all you need. That's all you need. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so you can see it's nice and smooth. Honestly, I think that the oil, being totally serious, the oil is here so that it doesn't stick to whatever you're covering it with. But I use a towel cloth. Now there's some recipes that I'll use saran wrap, and if you don't have that sprayed or oiled on the top, it will stick. So, but I believe in the power of the mama cloth, and that's what I'm using. Okay, let's check on our other loaf here. Okay, this was little. It's big now, right? And I'm trying to hurry before my time on Insta stories goes up. Because bread isn't something I probably should have done unless I had the steps already done. But you know what? Ain't about that life. I don't got time. I'm like, hey, in the moment. That's all I'm going to do. Okay, so normally this, I could sit for another hour even, and it would grow, and it would get to the top. And I would have to punch it down really hard, but I don't have time. But this one bowl bread recipe, I'm telling you, does not fail. So I'm going to push it down a little bit, make sure that all the air bubbles are out. Turn it onto that flour surface. Let's see. Now, I need to cut it, but I don't have my tool, so hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, that's a great idea. I've never done that before. Yeah, because the heat inside your home matters on how well your yeast is going to rise. I'm going to tell you right now, it is so cold here in Utah. It is so freakishly cold. I'm trying to get a flight out tomorrow to see my daughter. Because her husband's a pilot, I have to be on standby. So, oh yeah, I'm sure it does because that heat. So that it will rise quicker. So I like to, in Utah especially, I will heat my oven already at the very beginning to 350 and make sure that this space is a little bit warmer than it normally is. So that's what I do. But I'm not too worried about it. And honestly, I would probably let this rise a little longer, just so you know. Yeah. Oh, Tracy, my sister. Okay. Tracy, I'm coming tomorrow. P.S. I pray I get on the flight. And you never know. I'm coming to see Krista. She just got back into her house today. So invite her. She was going to come here and see me, but there was a huge snowstorm. Hence my yard. Okay. So all I'm doing, by the way, is I'm turning this in to the center. I'm just kind of going to shape my loaf. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's super easy. Tracy, I just talked about fasting. Okay. Yes, thank you. I need all the prayers I can get. Okay. And if you missed, I hate to be repetitive on stories because then they repeat and people watch them and they're like, why, you already said that. But those who are just joining the live, the actual live, maybe not have seen this. But if you're a first-time baker, get invested in the Pyrex clear bread pans. They're the best because you can see how brown things are getting. That's the best tip I can give for a new baker. So I got my bread here. Well, that looks a little rough. I like smooth top bread. People think I'm crazy when I knead my bread like this, but hey, listen, it works. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just tucking it in like I'm tucking in a baby to bed. Look, bum, bum, bum. Now, that's a smooth piece of bread. Okay, so I'm just laying it in gently. It's raining here in Provo. I feel like it's so true. Clear Pyrex. I'm telling you because I've baked for so long, I'll use these little mini loaf pans and I'm good to go. Like I have done it for so long, can't even talk. I'm like, that I know when the bread's done, right? I can almost smell when things are done. My kids laugh at me because I'll say, grab the cake out of the oven, or the brownies are done, the cookies are ready, and I don't time anything and they freak out. I've tried to start timing just so I can tell you how to do stuff, but the Pyrex is the best. Anything you're not sure of that has to have, like, even for cinnamon rolls, you want to see, because usually the tops will always brown faster than the bottom. And you don't want to pull your bread out of the oven until it is perfectly golden brown. Okay, so I'm going to put that over here. Did I mention I had homemade stew back here? Anyone come over and eat? Okay, so now I got this other loaf, right? I can do a lot of things with it. I've got another Pyrex, but I've got another bowl of bread going back there too. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll show you how I do my little loaves. Let's see, I'm going to do 3, so I can get 3. Okay, and honestly, you can use a weighted scale. Okay, so like this one is like baby. I can tell already that one's too little. And I usually scale weigh my little ones. Okay. And I can feel if they're too little or not. But just to see that they're equal in size. This one is heavy. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so I'm gonna spray 3 little pans. By the way, these are 3x6. These are the best investment, especially if you don't want to have a lot of bread in your life. Of course, who doesn't want to swim in the bread dough? Like, just give it all to me. That and chocolate. But I've found that the smaller loaves I can freeze in my freezer, and then I can pull them out, and I can make a good, now my husband calls them baby sandwiches, because when we're dieting, it feels like we're eating everything smaller. But honestly, you don't need that much bread, but you can have bread every single day, every day, I believe, as long as you don't have more than 2 types of bread a day, I think. And also, they're small. You don't need huge pieces of, big old loaf of bread like I'm doing back here. In fact, let me cover that while I'm thinking about it. Okay. So I make these little loaves, and then they make the perfect little bitty sandwiches. They're awesome. I love them so much. Okay, again, I'm just bam, 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 making the perfect little loaf. See? And then same applies. So once I've already sprayed it, I do this, and then I throw it back down in. So everything is covered. Everything is awesome. It really is. Patrice, you need to learn how to make bread. I need to show you. I don't know if y'all know. Maybe you have if you follow me. But I have 6 sisters. I'm the oldest of 6 sisters and 2 brothers. And I'm a cook. I'm the baker. They can too. Oh, Kaylee, I love you. There's my sister-in-law from one of those awesome brothers. Okay, so I'm showing everybody how to make my bread. You missed it. One bowl bread. It's on my blog. Okay, so now these little bread doughs are ready to go. Say! Oh my gosh, I have 2 sisters and a sister-in-law. Heaven! This is heaven. Okay, so these are ready to go. Now I will tell you that sometimes I'll just pop, I'm like, I don't got time to be waiting for it to rise until it's double. I put them in the oven and they still rise. And they're still amazing. So I'm telling you guys, this recipe is awesome. I got it years and years ago by a tried and true friend. Let's see, where am I going to put this? Put it over here. And it has never, ever, ever failed me. Okay? There is not a better bread recipe because I have never found a bread recipe that you can do white wheat or white flour or wheat flour and it still turn out perfect. Okay? Okay, so that was with honey. I made this batch with honey. Love you too, Kaylee. Say, I miss you. It's my sister Sarah. She's right under me. We the old sisters. The older and wiser sisters. Okay, I also have this recipe, little card you can print out on 4x6 on my blog. So look for that. It's 1 bowl bread. This is the actual recipe that I use today with the 3 cups of flour. So I normally double this and I use the flour that I showed you to be, I make about 6 loaves of bread, or I'll do 3 loaves of bread or 2 loaves of bread and cinnamon rolls. I mean, I just divide and conquer, you know. Okay, so let me cover those real quick like. All right. And then I made another batch for monkey bread. But I won't show you how to do that right now because I think I'll wait till little Lolo comes here. He's coming over and, okay, so I did address this, Kaylee. So you'll have to watch from the beginning, but I will tell you real quick since you're so sweet. Okay, bread flour is what I have here, but I have switched everything over to Kamut. Everything in my life, okay, until I cleaned out my pantry and I found I had one more of these. This is what I always use for bread or cinnamon rolls. In a pinch, if I don't got anything or I'm traveling and sisters like Patrice don't have any flour, I will use all-purpose flour instead of bread. But the bread flour is better for bread only because the bread flour has more protein, which creates more gluten, which helps the bread to rise and be more elastic. It's great for pizza dough. It's great for biscuits. Well, no, not biscuits. I use self-rising flour for biscuits, I think. I can't remember. It's on my blog. But Kamut flour is a natural strain of wheat, and it's amazing. So Kamut is all-purpose flour, but it's a white wheat, so it's healthier for you. It's got way more vital proteins and nutrients and all the things. It makes my cookies taste better. It makes my flour, my bread taste better. The only thing I'll say about Kamut is that it is so fine, almost like a cake flour, that you want to use about a half a cup less to a quarter cup less, or a quarter cup to a half a cup less in your cookies. Otherwise, you're going to get like little rocks. And I like a really good, beautiful cookie. Do you know what I mean? There's certain things that I do with that. Okay, so as you can see, it's already starting to rise. It's going to get big. It's going to get big and help. But I don't think I have a lot of more time on my live here. So maybe I'll just pop on a little later so y'all watch. And what I'm going to do is just cook it in the oven to 350 for about 20 minutes, 25. The little small little loaves that I have, these little loaf pans are the best. Go buy yourself some. There's all different brands, all different sizes. I have found that the best size for me are the 3x6 because that makes like the perfect slice of bread for like Logan comes over, my little grandson, and I'll make him a little sandwich, or my husband and I will have eggs for breakfast, or we just worked out and we need protein, so I'll throw a little piece of small toast, and it's just like the perfect little size. In fact, let me see. I'm trying to think if I have any. Look. Okay, so this is how I do them. I get these bread bags and I just tie them up, okay? Look, you can tell. This is how big they rise when I cook them. All right, and then this is, well, this is like the remnants of, just a little bit left here, but you can kind of see the size. Let me show you. I hope that it looks big here. Does it look big? Like you can see there, the size. It's just like the perfect little sandwich or a piece of toast. Oh, look, it looks super small here. Now I'm like, wow. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. Honestly, this is the best bread ever. This is my Kamut bread. I'm telling you what. Sacrament bread needs to be this bread. So if I was like, excuse me, I didn't get a couple pieces. I need more than that. A little big sliver. Oh, how do you get, okay. When you slice bread, make sure it's cold. First off, do you do that? Or is I'm eating bread, making you starve? So, I use a bread knife. You have to have a really sharp knife. Okay, this one's from the Great Bread Harvest Company, which I love. The one I was trying to show you. I've had this for 20 some odd years. There's your problem. There's your sign. So this one's by Pampered Chef. It's a serrated bread knife. And I got this one from a local bread shop that looks super awesome, and I thought it was cool because it had a wood handle, so I keep that. So, let me just show you. Well, I'm stuffing my face. How about that? Blame your Chub. You tell Chubby he needs to just step back. Okay. So here's the loaf. This was a frozen loaf. I freeze all my bread. Tracy, I'll make you bread when I come. Promise. Okay. Okay. And I usually go about like this. I don't do them super thick. What would I call that? About an inch. See how perfect it is? And it's simple. It's so tiny and perfect. You can make your kids school lunches and they're not overeating. You know, we live in a society where people just eat. I mean, I'm a product of that. I mean, I really am. I'm trying to do better. But this year, I'm trying not to limit myself with the things that I like. Because what I need to do is say, that's enough. That's the mind, right? We need to teach ourselves that, okay, that's a beautiful portion. Even though it looks like, you know, a baby could eat that. It's so tiny. I'm going to have that, and I'm going to call it good. I'm going to push my plate back. So what I do is when I take my bread out of the oven, I let it cool all the way, Kaylee, and then I slice it. I'll slice one to keep out because I know that I don't have any bread. That's why I'm making it, right? And then I will not slice the rest of the loaves, and I'll throw them in these bread bags, which I got at my local down here in Utah. I don't know if anybody's on here that's from Utah besides, I don't even know who's still on. So anyway, and then I have it all already pre-sliced. You can also freeze it like this. I've frozen it pre-sliced too. Okay, obviously this was for somebody and I forgot, and I just left it in my freezer. Otherwise it wouldn't have a beautiful ribbon on it, but it does today. Okay, so I just freeze it. And then it's already pre-sliced, and then, so, because my kids, if it's not pre-sliced, or my family, they come over, they're like, excuse me, do we not have any bread? I'm like, it's right in front of you. I have to slice it for some reason, so I slice it for them, and I just have it ready to go. And so in the morning, bam, they are at Walmart too. What is? These? I think that's what you mean, right? Okay, so look at that. What if you got this for me today? Would you be so happy? I came over and brought you this, plus maybe, let's see, a big old thing of jam, homemade jam, because you're my jam. That's right. Look at this. That's the perfect gift. That's what I gave my neighbors for Christmas. Hopefully they like me. I don't know. All right. Okay, so long story short, go to my blog. Oh, the bags. I didn't know they sold bread bags at Walmart. Huh. That's awesome. I get them out of the bread store in a pack of like 100. They're like $3 or $4. And I have the large ones for larger loaves, and I have smaller ones for that. And I use them for everything now. Like, I didn't know I could freeze my bread in those bread. So normally, my mama is a Ziploc connoisseur. Everything goes into Ziploc, freezer bag, because she likes to freeze food. You can just freeze them in these bags. Did you know that, Kaylee? So easy, and it still tastes super fresh. So, tip of the day. So, all I want y'all to know is that you can go get this recipe, try it today. You don't need a lot of ingredients. 100 pack for a couple dollars, right? It's super easy. I'm gonna have to look for those. I don't know if my Walmart has that. Stupid Utah. Okay, so my bread recipe is on my blog. You can print this out as a 4x6 photo. That's how I kind of do digital stuff. I like to do digital media, and so that's what I did. I make most of my recipes like this now. However, on my blog you can find that recipe. You can use white or wheat bread. Super easy to make. Only thing you need to worry about is making sure your yeast does not get above 120 degree water. Okay, I mean your water that you're gonna mix your yeast in. I usually stay around 100 to 110. Perfect rise of yeast every single time. Okay, that is important. Am I cracking y'all up? I'm sorry. I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood. I'm kind of happy because I only had 2-hour church today. I had 2-hour church today. I've already recorded my hymn song for the week. I cannot wait for y'all to hear it. Hopefully it's good. But it's one of my favorites. So what I got to do is got to tell my mama, because my mama gets mad at me if I'm singing and she can't hear me. So she gets angry. Okay, can you see like the little top is rising to the top? No, not really. Okay. Look how big it is. Okay. Also, I want to tell you fast. I don't know how much time I got left, but you can freeze cinnamon rolls. You can freeze bread dough. 2-hour church is thebomb.com. I was like, this is the best day of my life. I don't know. And you know what? In Utah, it's kind of a hit and miss, I feel. She's driving to San Antonio. See, my new niece. My sister had a baby yesterday. Friday. So my mom's head there. Yeah, I hope I can get to San Antonio before I head back home so I can see her. But anyway, so I'm trying to fly out tomorrow, Kaylee, to see Krista. She's back in Vidor today. She missed about 500 flights yesterday and then finally got back yesterday, or this morning. She got back this morning. Anyway, long story short. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, freezing your dough. Okay, so you can freeze pizza dough. No, don't be afraid, girl. Listen, it's the thawing part. You're right. Always afraid to freeze is the thawing part. Okay, so I'm not a huge, I don't normally like freeze dough. I'm not a big freezer person. I haven't been in the past, but I'm starting to get more into it because it's being a full-time working mom that I was laid off in December, which I'm okay with. It's good. It was a blessing in disguise. Anyway, I worked for 5.5 years for a company, and I had to have things ready. That's why I love my Instant Pot. That's why I love to now freeze things that I can just pull out in the morning and go. I'm going to be good to go. So with bread dough, I let it rise this time, this second time, and then I'll cut it. So I knead the dough, put it in the thing, let it rise, punch it down. I may use a portion of it and save another portion for later, especially if I'm making like a double batch of this. And then I'll roll out and make cinnamon rolls. So right now I think I actually have, let me see. Yep. Okay. These are frozen cinnamon rolls, ready to go. My homemade frozen cinnamon rolls. I've just rolled them out. I put them immediately in this already, throwaway pan. And then I put them in my freezer quick so they would freeze. Now tomorrow I could throw these out, or when somebody special comes over, I can put these on the counter in the morning, and about 3 to 5 hours later, I can pop these in the oven and I'll have fresh cinnamon rolls. Some people put them in the refrigerator overnight. Good, Kaylee. Okay, join later because I'm hoping to cook some monkey bread with Lolo. So join us. That'll be fun. Like, I freeze cornbread. I freeze breakfast burritos. I make homemade breakfast burritos now. And, I mean, it's so fast. course, I have my freezer jam as well. Okay, so I'm going to throw these. Okay, let's see how my bread's looking. Look at this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the oven because my family's about to get over here, and they aren't going to be happy if I don't have fresh bread coming out the oven to go with that homemade stew back there. So my daughter Krista was supposed to come today. It's big. Okay, let's see. See? And embarrassingly enough, it's to the top. I need to, that's my next job. Like it's got 2 levels. So I got that level and then this level. Ooh. Frozen, all my frozen food. Like, look, I still have Christmas jam ready to go. It's freezer jam. Okay, let me get resituated. I even kept the fabric on it just so I could quickly take it out. I still have a few people I want to get them to, but they were on vacation. So, anyway, I'm going to pop this in the oven. Yeah, I love my fridge. It's the French doors with the pull-out freezer. I love it. And I also have a refrigerator in my garage that I think my freezer just broke out there. But I literally, embarrassingly enough, I love soda so much. My husband is even worse than me. He can probably tell you which plant the soda came from if he's drinking it. That's how bad it is. And that's our soda fridge. That's all we use it for, usually. Or like if I'm doing a wedding cake or I have a lot, or Thanksgiving or, you know, something big like that, I have a freezer out there, or a freezer. I mean, refrigerator and freezer. But I think my freezer just broke, so it's not freezing everything really good. That's not good. Anyway, I appreciate all y'all joining. If you just joined, I appreciate you popping on. But I'm going to have to get out of here because I think I'm about to the end of my story. But I'll try to save this video. It'll be saved for 24 hours. Tell your friends, tell your family if they want to learn how to make bread. Follow along. And when Logan gets here, my daughter's coming over with her, and hopefully she can get here because it's literally coming down like crazy, the snow. She's gonna slide in. Gonna slide in. And when they do get here, I'll try to do a live with him, and we will do the bread. Okay guys, thank y'all so much. Love all the support and all the comments. That just makes me so happy. And I hope you know that you can do this. You can cook too. It's not hard. It's the easiest thing, no matter what I do. Listen, if I'm cooking it, it's easy because I don't got time for the big old, 65 degrees. Oh, stop. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. All right. See you guys.